Madhavendra Puri. By the will of Providence, he met Madhavendra Puri. Madhavendra Puri is a personification of love to Krishna in Madhurya Prema Rasa. So 155th verse onwards today. Madhavendra Puri Premamaya Kalevara Premamaya Yata Sabas Sange Anuchara. So body of Madhavendra Puri is imbued with ecstatic love of God, and his followers partake of those same sentiments. Krishna Rasa Vinuara Nahika Ahara Madhavendra Puri Dehe Krishnera Vihara. So he did not relish any other than loving sentiments for Lord Krishna, who enjoyed his pastimes in the body of Madhavendra Puri. So who did not relish any other loving sentiments for Lord Krishna? Here now about Nityananda Prabhu is this book. We are speaking about Nityananda Prabhu, who enjoyed his pastimes in the body of, we are speaking about Madhavendra Puri only. Now Madhavendra Puri did not relish any other loving sentiments for Lord Krishna, who enjoyed his pastimes in the body of Madhavendra Puri. So Krishna allows to enjoy the pastimes along with Madhavendra Puri. So he is situated in the body of Madhavendra Puri. Yara Shishya Prabhu Acharya Vara Goshani Ki Kahiba Aratandra Premera Badai. So here Vrindavan Das Thakur says, what more can I say about the devotion of he who was a spiritual master of Advaita Acharya? So as we discussed yesterday, Madhavendra Puri had all great disciples. Among all great disciples one of them was Advaita Acharya, Ishwar Puri, Paramananda Puri, Brahmananda Puri, Ranga Puri, Pundarik Vidyanidhi, Raghupati Upadhyaya. They are all different other disciples. So among all of them, you can say, we know about that Advaita Acharya, the glories of Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya is Vishnu Tattva himself. So now see Vishnu Tattva, Advaita Acharya, taking shelter of Madhavendra Puri. That is how glorious is Madhavendra Puri. The word Badai comes from the Sanskrit word Buddhi, and the common Bengali word Bada. Bada means prominence, greatness, praiseworthy, glorious, respectable. So Lord himself taking shelter of Madhavendra Puri means how glorious or how great is Madhavendra Puri that has been described. Then further. Madhava Puri Dekile Nityananda Tata Kshani Preme Murcha Haila Nishpanda. So when Nityananda Prabhu saw Madhavendra Puri, he was immediately stunned in ecstatic love and fell to the ground unconscious. And seeing Nityananda, what happened to Madhavendra Puri, he also fell unconscious. He also forgot about himself. Nityananda dekhi matra Shri Madhava Puri padila murchita haya hai apana pashali. So even he fell unconscious. Because Madhavendra Puri could immediately recognize that Balaram himself has come to him. Bhakti Rase Madhavendra Adi Sutradhara Gaurachandra Iha Kahi Yachena Bare Bare. So now Gaurasundar has repeatedly stated that Madhavendra Puri is the original root of worship in ecstatic love. Here when we say ecstatic love, here refers to the Madhurya Prema Rasa. He is the root, original root. Because only in that Madhurya Prema Rasa, such type of Ashtavikara happens. You can say in other rasas it doesn't happen. Ashtavikara only happens when a person experiences that loving separation. That can happen, no doubt. In other rasas also, but the topmost is there in the Madhurya Rasa. Like when Uddhava was asked to visit Vrindavan to give the message to the gopis. At that time, he saw a river flowing. And he just asked the address of where Nanda Baba and Yashoda stay. And the answer given was The source of this river is their ashram, is their kutir. Go there. You can see the tears flowing from their eyes, which has, it flows so profusely that it has taken the form of the river. So there also crying is there in separation. But the cry in separation, which is experienced by the gopis of Vrindavan headed by Srimati Radharani, is the topmost. It is the topmost than even the Vatsalya Rasa. दोहे मूर्छा हैलेन दोहा दर्शने कांडये ईश्वरपुरी आदि शिष्य गणे. So then both of them fell unconscious. The disciples headed by Ishwarpuri all began to cry. That means Ishwarpuri is present there and all his eternal associates are also there. So Ishwarpuri Adi refers to 9 nidhis or the 9 sannyasis headed by Paramananda Puri. So all his sannyasi disciples and all there, they were all completely surprised and they started crying. What is this? Both of them, I felt unconscious. Shane ke haila bahaya drishti dui jana anye anye anyo anye gala dhari kare na krandana. After some time, they regained external consciousness. They held each other's necks and began to cry. बालू गदी याय द्वी प्रभु प्रेम रसे हुंकार करये कृष्ण प्रेमयर आवेशे. Then they rolled in the sand, they were crying in ecstasy, they were overwhelmed with ecstatic love and they cried profusely. Dui Prabhu. Dui Prabhu means 2 Prabhus, Nityananda Prabhu and Madhavendra. Prema nadi vahe dui Prabhu nayane पृथ्वी हैला सिक्ता धन्य है ना माने. Now their tears flowed like rivers from their eyes and soaked Mother Earth, thereby making her feel gratified. So crying for Krishna is a blessings given by Krishna only. When Uddhava goes to tell the gopis, please don't cry, and they say the crying in separation is the perfection of life. So crying in separation for Krishna, if a person has this ecstatic love, if you go and tell him don't cry, then it is actually going away from the highest principle, crying in separation, Vipranamba Bhava. Kampa Ashru Pulaka Bhavera Antanai Dui Dehe Viharaya Chaitanya Goshani. Now shivering, shedding of tears, hairs standing on end, other ecstatic symptoms appear without end. For Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, person resides in their body. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is actually relishing these pastimes. He is there. He is residing in their bodies. Krishna is residing. Who is Krishna? Who is Chaitanya? Krishna himself. Nityananda bole yata tirtha karilana samyak tahara phala aji pailana. Nityananda Prabhu says, I have done so much of traveling to various pilgrim places. Today it has borne fruit. Nayane dekhino Madhavendra charana yehi prema dekhiya dhanya hai jivana. Oh, today I have seen the lotus feet of Madhavendra Puri. So by seeing his ecstatic love for Krishna, my life has become successful. Madhavendra Puri Nityananda Gauri bole. Uttaranaspure Kantharudha Prema Jale. Madhavendra Puri embraced Nityananda Prabhu, was unable to reply. His throat was choked with love. Nityananda Prabhu says, I have attained perfection in my life now. Whatever I have traveled, the travel to the pilgrimage places has given the fruits, and that fruit is having darshan of the lotus feet. Hena Prita Hailena Madhavendra Puri Vaksha Haite Nityananda Bahira Nakori. Now, Madhavendra Puri was so pleased. He was unable to release Nityananda from his embrace, just holding him. So Madhavendra Puri could not remove his embrace. That much he was completely in ecstasy. Ishvara Puri, Brahmananda Puri, Adiyata, Sarva Shishya Hailena, Nityananda Rata, and everybody felt that great attachment for Nityananda Prabhu. All other disciples, Ishwar Puri, Brahmananda Puri, all other. There were 9 important disciples. Ishwar Puri was born in a Brahmana family of Kumarahatta near the Halisara station on the EB. What is EB? Eastern. I don't know what is EB. EB railway line. East Bengal. East Bengal.
Bengal.
Yeah, East Bengal railway line. It's nice. Sachadev Prabhu always does na HK and all these abbreviations. He lots of abbreviations. East Bengal. And was a beloved disciple of Madhavendra Puri. The Chaitanya Charitamrita 8.28 to 30 describes how Shriman Madhavendra, being pleased by his service, benedicted him in the following words: May you always obtain the wealth of love for Krishna. Prior to enacting the pastime of initiating Mahaprabhu with the 10-syllable mantra Gaya, Sri Ishwar Puri came to Navadvip and resided at the house of Gopinath Acharya for 1 month. At the time, he had discussions with Advaita Acharya and Mahaprabhu, in which he recited to them his book, Sri Krishna Leelamrita. Chaitanya Bhagavata Adi Leela Chapter 11 will speak about this. When Shriman Mahaprabhu visited Kumarhatta to see the birthplace of Sripad Ishwar Puri, he took some dirt from that place and bound it in his outer garment to teach the living entities how to respect one's spiritual master. Chaitanya Bhagavad Adi 17.101. So all these things are going to come in the later chapters. Even today, every Gaudiya Vaishnava who visits a place of Ishwar Puri carries some dirt back with him. Sri Madhavendra Puri was the first fructified seed of the desired tree of devotional service. And Ishwar Puri is the nourishment of that fructified seed. Again, that is going to come in, that we are going to see in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi 9.11. The 2 brahmacharis, Govinda and Kashishwara, were disciples of Ishwara Puri. After his disappearance, these 2 brahmacharis went to Nilachal on his order to serve Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi 10, 138 to 139. Kashishwara and Govinda. We know that how Govind served Mahaprabhu very nicely. Madhya 10.131 to 134. Both of them served very nicely. They were originally the disciples of Ishwar Puri. He received Mahaprabhu's mercy on the pretext of giving him mantra initiation on Gaya, at Gaya. Again, Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi 17.9. Sri Brahmananda Puri was a disciple of Sriman Madhavendra Puri. In other words, he was one of the 9 nidhis or roots of the desired tree of devotional service. Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi 9.13. He was a participant in Sri Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan pastimes in Navadvip. He also took part in Mahaprabhu's pastimes in Nilachal. Sabeyata Mahajana Sambhashakorena Krishna Prema Taharo Sharira Na Dekhena. So they had previously come across many sadhus, but they had never seen such devotional symptoms. So all these disciples were completely surprised and they were crying in ecstasy. So here we'll stop. Tomorrow 172 words onwards. Any doubts?
Yeah. 2-3 points, Mataji. Hare Krishna Dandavat Pranam. Mataji, you said about this dirt carrying of Ishwar Puri. We also carry this dust from Vrindavan also. And I wanted to know that what do we do after carrying that dust and bring it back to home?
Apply every day and put little in the mouth.
Apply every day means as a tilak, on the tilak?
Yeah.
And put little in the mouth. Next question, Mataji. You said that Nanda Baba, that Uddhavji was finding about Nanda Baba's address and all that, and then they said, see the river, go to the source of river, and that source represents the tears. So till there it is okay. The tears are a separation of Krishna. But then these tears which are flowing in the form of river, so these cannot be ordinary water flowing because it is beyond that. So these tears must be representing these tears must be representing the devotees flowing. So how do we understand this? Because till here I understand. After that I don't understand.
These
Tears,
tears represent what?
they represent devotees. Now, when tears are coming out from the eyes of these elevated
Of
souls.
Krishna, of Krishna. That when we spoke, the devotees take the form of the tears when Krishna rubs his eyes.
Did not understand, Mataji.
You have this verse?
Which verse? No, I don't have this verse.
You don't have, what is it? Damodarashtakam? Rudantam muhurnetram yugmam rujantam. When
Yeah.
Krishna rubs the eyes, devotees take the form. When devotees cry, that is tears only. But they cry so much. What is the problem?
No problem with that. So devotees take the form means what? Like, what does it mean? Devotees take the form.
The Shantarasa devotees take the
Shantarasa,
form of the
okay.
tears when they get an opportunity to touch Krishna's cheeks, notice, eyes, notice, face, feet, where they accumulate.
So Uddhav's crying of tears will represent what?
Uddhava's crying represents tears only.
Only plain tears.
Now you are crying then, if you cry for Krishna.
But then the river will not flow now, Mataji, so much. If we
So
take
because
it
we
as
don't have that much ecstatic love, na? We have so many things, other agendas. They did not have any other agendas.
the river क्या है? Drop भी नहीं गिरता है.
Mm.
The next
Now
question.
when it is said it is the river of tears, we should accept it first. How, when, so much of tarka buddhi we should not have.
No, I'm accepting it, but I wanted to understand it further. That's why. Because every time you have explained this nicely. Next question, Mataji. You said that you read about that Ashta Satvik Vikara. So that you said it is only for this Ashta Satvik Vikar is ASV is only for this conjugal
It is
love.
the highest. It is the highest in the. I told it is the highest.
So only for conjugal rasa, madhurya rasa, not below those rasas. It will be there, but then
It can happen in any rasas. It can happen dasya also, but the highest and the topmost is in the.
okay, that's what I wanted to ask. That it can happen in other four rasas also.
The gopis' cry for Krishna is the topmost. That is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has emphasized the topmost is Madhurya Prema Rasa.
Okay.
In others also it happens. Even Hanuman could not tolerate the separation from Prabhu Ram.
Yeah.
He used to cry. But if you compare the crying separation of everyone, when Arjuna could not tolerate, Mother Yashoda, Devaki, they also could not tolerate. They love Krishna. How can they tolerate? But that is the topmost in Madhurya. That is what is exhibited by Madhurya Puri.
Okay. Last question, Mataji. The text 164. Tears of love flowed like rivers from the eyes and soaked Mother Earth, thereby making her feel gratified. So, what is she gratified about, Mother Earth?
She is satisfied. Gratified means what? Satisfied, na?
She's getting satisfaction into the heart. Yeah, okay.
Why is she satisfied? Because she is also crying and she sings. Yes, she is also crying in separation from Krishna. And when she sees both are crying in separation from Krishna, there is a satisfaction. Hamare party ke.
Satisfaction unto the heart is perfection of life. Leads to perfection of life.
Like when you see devotees, you feel satisfied, isn't it?
Yeah. So it leads
in the same way, Mother Earth is satisfied.
Okay. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you very much.
Anyone else? Okay. Hare Krishna. So learn this verse. Whoever have not memorized it, memorize the verse. At least sing 20 times in a day. Go on singing. Who knows? Madhendra Puri will give such mercy that even we will cry like this. दीनतया त्रिनाथ है मथुरा नाथ कदा अवलोक्य से हृदय त्वदालोककातरं दैत्य भ्राम्यति